Luigi Ferrara.
This is called the Comune of Nimes Crescent. How long has it been since I was last in the Shire, since I heard in dialect them asking of you, and listened as they remembered all they had left behind? That made me think of my uncle saying to me as we bled the pig, "You won't do this when you grow up." And I promised, oh yes I would, while he looked at me with knowing eyes, that all this would also disappear, be left behind. 2441. Here I am in the Robarts reading room, poring over aerial photographs from the 1960s, following the path of the 401 where it intersected the 400. Vehicles once flowed there onto Jane Street, looking for Wilson Avenue. How long has it been since I was last in the Shire? There they are, the levees of my youth that controlled Black Creek as it snaked the way from Downsview Drive past Chalk Farm to the Oakdale Golf Course. And there in the center of the photograph, an overhead view of what once was and is no longer, the last evidence of the lost world I lived in, as mythical now as Atlantis. Gone are the suburban streets that were skating rink and football field, that scattered the children in hide and seek and gathered them at dusk for prayers. Gone are the cinder block porches and the cantinas inside them, the barrels of wine turned with the full moon and the flanks of ham salted and hung. There were kept glass jars filled with sausages and oil, peppers, tomato sauce, and pears, plums, and apples, preserved in their own juice. Gone are the fruit trees that dotted the gardens, the rows of tomato plants, beans, cucumber, and zucchini, the basil-lined pathways of 2x2 concrete pavers, the fenceless stretch behind the houses, the vine-trellised patios linked one to the other, the canopy of Concord grapes, the terrazzo-top picnic tables. Gone is the fabulous fig tree, that stack of shutters behind the garden shed that guarded it in winter, the clothesline that guided the garden hose for ease of irrigation. Gone are the clip box hedges and the borders of petunias, the silver-painted iron rails that glowed at Christmas, incandescent blue, green, white, red, and orange. The prettiest street in the world by night, ablaze in the heat of color, while underfoot crunched icy crisp your footprint in the snow. In those days before salted streets, the tire tracks would form a ski run. You could slide down with the slightest of effort. And frictionless, you could travel the length of 10 houses in your fine Italian shoes before Christmas Eve. Gone are the bingo games of the holidays, the jam-filled pizzelle, the anicini and chickpea cocoa-filled fried sweets served on silver trays covered with lace doilies. Gone is the admonishment not to make compliments, to eat at my house as if it were yours, to help each other harvest the crop, make the wine, bottle the sauce, roast the peppers, bleed the pig, roast the lamb on tiny wooden spades, fill out the tax forms from Revenue Canada, finish the basement, build the garage, float finish the patio, pave the gravel drive, oil the asphalt. Gone are the nights spent singing between stories of who was related to who and what one passed through during the war, the stories of the barons of the Marquis and what they took and how little was left, of how hungry they felt. They knew they were happy now. They had known unhappiness then. They had run to the caves beneath the houses of Grotte, where together they faced death as bombs fell around them. Isn't this where they all first met? Isn't this how they all first fell in love? They had grown up in triangular rooms built of injustice. They were happy now to sleep in square ones, however modest the size, however spare the furniture. They had built their peaceable kingdom where everything wrong had been left behind and all that was good had been taken with them. Only a suitcase, so simple to choose. I am my father's son, as he was his, and mine own is mine. I try and tell my stories to him, though he hardly cares to listen, of the city within a city where I grew up, of the Comune of Nimes Crescent, where one did not have to imagine all the people living for today, where there were no countries and no religion too, where there was nothing to kill or die for, just people living life in peace. I am called a dreamer by most everyone I know, but I have lived in the garden. I have known the idyll of a life well lived before I ate the apple that brought me here to earth. The most important things are often lost to history. What we know is what manages to survive. We look at artifacts and reconstruct what was, our imagined version of the truth. But what if the best things return to the earth? What if the most beautiful things do not enslave, do not leave a pyramid-like mark in our present, or cut a 7,000-mile swath across the landscape as seen from space? What if all that is truly beautiful leaves no trace at all, no physical residue, no presence in the city, no lasting sign or signal? What happens to us then, when all the best things are carried away with us? when all the best things rest in our hearts.
Thanks.